talking about turnout the other night, and this is about nearly double what we were expecting. So just what we're thank you so much for coming out. Really, really encouraging to see this kind of enthusiasm, and the room's filled, and so just thank you again so much. And this event's really come together. It's come together so nicely, but it really didn't come together. There were incredible people who really took it upon themselves to make this event happen. Sarah Provinger, you've done so much. Thank you. Deanna, Angela.
Angela, where's Angela? Yes,
Thank you so much. You guys make this happen. I'm taking the credit here. And thank you. Really, a lot of people made this happen, and I'm really so thrilled at how this came together. Now, this isn't really about me. I just want to kind of give a little background about what this is, what the Young Republicans are, and how we kind of came to be. Because as of I think late August maybe of this year, Louisville finally got chartered a nationally chartered Young Republican chapter, which is, you can clap that if you want. And this is the first time in history, and that's really something that's really special. The YR organization, I actually didn't even, prior to maybe 2023 or 2024, even know it was actually a separate independent organization. My day job is I'm the prosecutor attorney for General Bowman, and just what an incredible guy. I could go on and on how great he has been. But that's separate. About when I started there, I kind of got the itch to get more involved in politics, and a wonderful gentleman named Don Fitzpatrick reached out to me, and this is the guy who's really just done more for our party in the city than anybody. Really talked to me. Right now, if you want to look for a basis of comparison, right now in New York, the Republicans are hoping Andrew Cuomo wins. That's where most urban places, where most urban Republican parties are. So big credit to Don for bucking that trend and keeping us in the discussion and in play here in Louisville.
Team effort.
Led by you. But anyways, he asked me to be involved with youth outreach as part of as an officer for the JCRP, and of course I was honored to be asked, and boy am I glad I did it. It's been a great experience. I've met so many wonderful people, but some point along the way, I think Deanna came across Sebastian, who wanted to be here tonight. He's the head of the statewide party, Sebastian Torres, and he said he will be at the next event, but he wasn't here tonight. But anyways, and he explained to us basically what the Young Republicans were and how it was an entirely different organization than the actual Republican Party, and it's actually an organization that has a lot more manpower, a lot more flexibility to actually organize. And I first off, as somebody who's been, in my mind, somewhat involved over the years, I was kind of embarrassed. I didn't know what it was. And and then I was the chair of the political party about 2 weeks later, which is but really when we talked to them, there was a lot of excitement about building this in Louisville. There had never been one in Louisville before, it's a particularly important time. There's a couple things that I think accentuate that. 2024, we saw historic movement among the youth towards the Republican Party, towards Trump. A lot of these folks, though, they're not committed Republicans. They're people who have they've rejected sort of the monolithic, Democratic left. They're not fully sold on this yet. So this is part of an effort to build something. We don't just want to be against something. We want to be for something. We want to have structures. We want to have networks. We want people to actually feel like they belong to something in Louisville, and that's something that's something that's so important to any movement, any structure, and that's what the Young Republican national organization. It's about networking. It's about professional networking, business networking, in addition to political networking, because these things really do overlap. You have to have people that are you want to build leaders that are excited and invested in keeping conservative values and keeping the party competitive that upholds those values, which, again, that's what we're all about. The last thing I'll say is when we first made this event, we had no idea it would be in the wake of such a tragic event. And I'd say it's particularly stinging because Charlie Kirk, and I don't say this, I mean, more than anyone, has single-handedly given Republicans and conservatives a foothold among the youth in a way that nobody else has. I'll tell you, I'm the same age as Charlie Kirk. I graduated high school the same year. When I was in college, I was embarrassed to be from Mitt Romney. I mean, so I was, imagine that. People gave me flack for being for Mitt Romney. That was the environment in 2012, and it got worse from there. But then Charlie Kirk was really part of those people who came in and he showed up, and he was open and loud, and he told and he said kids the message that it's okay to be conservative, okay to be Republican. The monolithic thinking was not something that had any kind of it wasn't something that was unquestioned. And TPUSA, by the way, there's people from TPUSA here. Just an incredible organization that has done a lot, and there's so much of the reason why you now see youth conservatism is now alive and thriving again. We're opening new chapters. We're doing things. I mean, you see it in this room, and it's just a wonderful thing. And we do it for Charlie every day. It's certainly shoes that will never be filled, but what he built, we want to keep on building on without forgetting. And that's something that should be lost on no one. I do want to thank. We have a couple of offices. Is Nikhil here?
I don't think I saw him come in.
Okay, well, when he comes in, he's our social media guy. He's a real star. Really love some of the direction that he's doing. I want to thank. I already talked about Deanna, Sarah, Isaac, who's been involved. You're actually the statewide finance. Treasurer.
State treasurer for ours.
Yeah. Right star of the party. He might be the RNC chairman one day nationally. So star. And really done a lot to help us get off the ground here, and we appreciate that. I know you. We have the Davenports who, unfortunately, they moved out of Louisville, so that but they were very helpful in getting us started as well. So we appreciate Rebecca, Avery Davenport, who was involved as well. So, anyways, with that said, I'm going to talk about our special guest, who we are so thankful that Representative Jared Bowman was kind enough to show up and be willing to take his time and speak to these young interested Republicans, and he's somebody who he was kind of the perfect choice. This is he's somebody who he sent me his job title, and it's successful and it's involved with chemistry, which is basically to me that's about I got a C in my genetic chemistry in college. So that's about. But I want to get the actual title because he before he was a representative, he's long been director of operational excellence for Berkshire Hathaway, a little company called Berkshire Hathaway. I don't know if you heard of it. Specialty chemical division. And he actually is involved with global manufacturing operations there. He's been a real star in the legislature. He came in 2023. He's a South Louisvillian, lifelong husband, father, proud Catholic. And South Louisville, by the way, that's the real demographic base of the party. When I was growing up, East Louisville was where the party is. Now East Louisville's now one of the more liberal areas. I would say it's certainly not the Republican base. It's the South now, and so he represents the emerging Republican Party and the future leaders that are coming up. And we love to have him speak here during his time in the legislature. He's in a short time there already made a mark. You ask anybody in Frankfurt, who the rising stars are in the party, he would be one of the first names, if not the first name, mentioned. He was involved with the Safer Kentucky Act, and that's something that anybody who lived in Louisville would say, it's so important. The ravage of crime is still hitting us, but the legislature, with the help of Representative Bowman, really really gave us a lifeline there, and we're hoping, and that's something that can't be quantified. He's vice chair of the energy committee, and again, that's an issue I don't know as much about, but I know it's important. No, but he's somebody who has a real background there, and he brings a lot of technical expertise that's very much needed. And again, he also has done a lot of work with juvenile justice. Again, criminal justice is still, in Louisville particularly, such an important issue. It's an issue that helps, an issue that affects everybody, regardless of party, regardless of background. So, without further ado, I really am pleased to give off the floor to Representative Bowman and.
Thank you, John, and Sarah. Thank